Welcome to the Recon Trader. In today's video, I will share with you the new interface BITSGAP just released for setting up and deploying their grid bots. Now, if you're not familiar with BITSGAP, it is an all-in-one crypto trading platform that includes a trading terminal. They also have a arbitrage feature you could take advantage of. You can trade in demo mode before you submit your funds to live fire. But today we'll be taking a look at their grid bots, and they just released a new interface for setting up those grid bots and deploying those grid bots. But before we get too far into the weeds, you might be curious as to what type of investment is required to actually get started, and you can actually get started for free. They offer a 14-day free trial, and if you use my link in the description down below, that 14-day free trial will be of their pro plan, which will allow you to deploy up to 15 live grid bots all at the same time. Now, after your 14-day free trial expires, you can start with the basic plan for as little as $19 a month. That will get you 2 active trading bots. Now, if you want to deploy a few more bots, you might step up to the advanced plan for $44 a month, and that will get you up to 5 active trading bots. That's enough jaw-jacking. Let's get to the new interface and get a bot deployed. Alright, from my BITSGAP dashboard under the Bots tab, you can see I have a couple live bots currently running, and if you're not familiar with how a grid bot actually operates, it will basically buy the dip down and then sell the rip up. So you're buying low and selling high, and each one of these lines represents an open limit order. The green lines are open limit buy orders, so as the price goes down and hits one of the green lines, it fills one of those limit orders and buys at a lower price. Once the price goes back up and hits one of these red lines, it then sells and in theory takes profit after buying at a lower price. So again, you're buying low and selling high. And as you can see from the price action on this particular bot, it has dipped and bounced, dipped and bounced. And what you will also see is the price action has actually exceeded the upper and lower limits on occasion, and the fact that BITSGAP has trailing up and trailing down features has allowed my bot to stay in the battle the whole time without missing out on any of this price action. So when I deploy a bot, I typically enable the trailing up and the trailing down feature. Now, one fix that they did release in the new upgrade, you can see I have a couple NAs over here under basically my change percentage or the profit or loss for my particular bots. Unfortunately, when they released the trailing down feature, if the bot actually did trail down, as you can see, VET did actually breach the lower limits. That basically caused a reporting error as far as the change percentage for this particular deployed bot. And you can see I have the NA on both VET and ETH. And therefore, I'm not getting updated figures since the bot did deploy down and have to essentially rebuild the grid on the way down. Now, going forward with the new release, this problem will not occur on any bots I deploy today and going forward, and I can correct this issue by manually closing these bots and then redeploying them if I so chose. And then the big change is how you actually go about setting up and deploying a new bot. In the past, over here on the right hand side of the screen, you would have all of your settings, and so you would configure your bot, and then when you see modify, that would have been a start button, and you would have clicked start, and your bot would have been deployed. Now what they have done is they've moved your settings to where you see it says start new bot, and you actually now have your bot details where the settings used to be, and the modify button, if you click on that, will allow you to do just that, is modify like you're trailing up. You can turn that off, or you're trailing down, you can disable that. And if you scroll down, you could also enable your take profit or your stop loss feature if you so desire. But today I'm looking to deploy a bot on Bitcoin, so I'm going to click the Start New Bot button, and I have three choices basically. I can do their combo bot, which is their futures bot on Binance. But today I will be deploying the S-bot, which is designed more for a sideways or slightly moving up market, and Bitcoin has definitely been moving sideways over the past week, pretty much between the $39,000 level and the $44,000 level. So we'll click on S-bot, and now you see the view we traditionally saw with the settings over here on the right hand side. So now I need to pick my exchange, and you connect your exchanges through the My Exchanges tab. You don't actually ever send any money to BITSGAP. All your money stays on your exchange. You use API keys in order for BITSGAP to communicate with your exchange as far as buy and sell orders. Therefore, all your money is secure, as it can be when being held on an exchange. Today, I am going to choose KuCoin for my exchange, and then the pair I will be trading will be BTC USDT, and so I can just find that from the list of available pairs. Give that a click. Now I need to determine how much ammo I want to actually give the bot, and we'll start with, say, 900 USDT. Now I'm ready to configure the lower and upper limits for my actual grid, and I typically look for support for my lower level grid and prior resistance for my upper level grids. And so if we jump over to the 4-hour chart, that will kind of squeeze everything down so I can get a better eye on the actual chart. And so for my lower level, I'm going to bring this up to around 39,000. And then for my upper level, I'm going to crank this down to where we see resistance back in this area, which is around actually 45,000. And I can also manually type in those levels over here on the right hand side. And so I basically fine-tune those into 39,000 and 45,000. And as I mentioned previously, I have the trailing up enabled, and I also want the trailing down enabled, so I just give that a click, and that will allow the grid to follow that price down. And I'm going to take this pretty low. I am going to give it a lot of room to maneuver. Since I'm willing to actually hold Bitcoin long term, I will let this bot follow the price down as far as possible, actually. So I'm going to actually set my trailing down level at around 18,000. And so now really my upper and lower price levels don't really come into play, as I do have both trailing up and trailing down enabled. So I'm going to actually raise my lower price level into around this support level here, which I believe is going to be around 40,000. So now you see I do have a pretty tight grid, but again with trailing up and down, the grid will basically follow the price action in either direction. Next I need to configure my grid spacing and the actual number of grids I want to have for this bot. And so I'm going to start with grid spacing of around 0.49%. Now that will give me 21 grids, and if I scroll down I can give backtest a click and see how this bot might actually perform. Now, it's important to remember that backtest results don't guarantee future results. I don't actually put a whole lot of weight in these results. The results were just over 0.25% per day. I typically shoot for 1% profit on most of my grid bots. However, on crypto, I'm willing to hold long term like Bitcoin, ETH, ADA, VET. I'm not actually that concerned about the actual percent return because I'm just as happy holding those coins long term if the price continues to go down. Now, as far as these results, the reality is it includes the trading fee, and on KuCoin, I can tell you I pay 0.08%. That should actually increase our return results. And it did. We're now at 1.3% or almost 0.5% per day. Now, jumping back up to the grid spacing, if I change that to, say, 0.70%, that does knock my grids from 21 to 15. If I hit the back test now, we can see a slight increase to 1.37% from the 1.30. And so again, I'm not that concerned with the back test results. So I am actually going to change my grid step back to the 0.49%. With grid levels of 21, however, with trailing up and trailing down enabled, that pretty much eliminates the need for a larger grid. Now the last thing to really configure would be take profit or stop loss, as I have trailing up enabled, trailing down enabled, and my trailing down level is around 18,000. Now I do not necessarily recommend such a large drawdown. We're looking at 55% down off of where the current price of Bitcoin is. However, it's Bitcoin and I'm willing to buy it all the way down. Anytime I get Bitcoin at a lower price, to me, is a win. Take profit is an option. If the bot achieves a certain level of profit, you can have the bot stop and lock in that profit. Now, as far as a stop loss goes, typically I use a stop loss on the majority of all my trading I do. However, there are a few and very few exceptions. In this case, it being Bitcoin. Again, I'm willing to let the price go down, and I don't want this bot to stop trading at a lower price. So in this rare instance, I will not be using a stop loss. So to quickly recap, we deployed the SBot on the KuCoin exchange, Bitcoin USDT. The amount of ammo I gave this bot is 900 USDT. The lower price I set at 40,500. My upper level price I set at 45,000. My grid spacing, the amount of space between these lines, is 0.49%, or just about 0.5%. And my grid levels, or the number of grids I actually have, is 21. And since I have trailing up and trailing down enabled, this bot will follow the price up or down, and so the grids will basically follow the price in either direction. I set a stop for the trailing down feature at around 18,000. I did not enable the take profit or the stop loss. We already ran a back test, and now we're going to click on preview, which is a little different. In the past, that would have said start, but now you get the opportunity to preview the bot before you deploy it, and you can see all my settings are in place. I just click confirm. It gives me a warning that it's going to have to buy some Bitcoin in order to satisfy those open sell limit orders that are on the way up. So yes, go ahead and buy that Bitcoin. You can see the market order was placed for those Bitcoin. That market order was filled. I now hold that Bitcoin. And now you can see the bot is starting up. This is new as well. They didn't have this in the past. And now the bot has started and the grids are populating on the chart. And now I can click done. And now I have all the details for my new BTC grid bot. So that pretty much wraps it up. I just wanted to share with you the new interface that BITSGAP just released for deploying their grid bots. And so if you like this video, do me a favor, spike a like. If you're interested in more videos about trading crypto, then you might want to shoot that subscribe button. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop those in the comment section down below. I will drop a link to BITSGAP in the description down below. And in closing, remember, never send your money into battle without first doing your recon. See you in the next video.